Hi, this is Ryan, and this is Midlife Crisis Journal, Day 12. The tip today, I'll just crack my neck in the first 3 seconds of the video. The tip today is blind spots in your mirrors when driving. See, the way that a lot of people set their mirrors in the car is actually suboptimal, and they're not set up in a way where you can actually see your blind spots. So, what I do to set my mirrors in the car is I'll splay them out a little wider. So your driver's side mirror and your right side mirror, both of them, you can't actually see the car when your head's in a normal spot and you look in your mirror. You can't see the car, the edge of the car, like you maybe normally would. You have to move your head a little bit to see the car because they're faced out a little bit wider. This covers more of your blind spot without creating any new ones, because you see when you overlap the edge of the car with your mirrors, you do overlap with your rear view mirror in the back. So get a feel for that. There is an optimum spot to do your blind spots. It's different than what's typical. And that's good just for visibility in the car. It's a nice little secret weapon. All right. So for today, a few interesting little tidbits. One, I didn't go to the Nude 5K yesterday. One, it was very inconvenient. I actually ended up mounting our TV on the wall in our living room, which freed up a ton of space, and the room was actually really nice. It's kind of overdue to do that. It took down the last of the baby gates too, with my youngest being, over 3 now. We had our fireplace gated off, propane fireplace gated off. So I did that instead. There's a day later this month I might be able to go there to visit the nudist resort. The other interesting comment was from my wife too, because after I did this, I was like, "Oh, this is pretty nice." And she says, like, "Yeah." She said, "You don't have to be the complete opposite of your dad." Meaning, like, my dad was big on working on the house and did that. That was like his main thing. And she was like, "You don't have to completely do everything else," which kind of goes back to what I was talking about in some of my journals, where I really get satisfaction from doing the things my parents didn't do. So the things my parents did do, I want to make sure I'm not missing them. And my dad being a bit of a house junkie, maybe I could do a little bit more of that, get satisfaction from that. Not to mention that it's useful. We do it for everybody in the family. We are coming up to an interesting decision when it comes to house, though. So we have, it's not a good time to buy a house. We bought our house in 2015. We got a good interest rate on the mortgage. And I don't want to sell our house because I think keeping real estate, keeping house and not selling it, instead like renting it out or something, using it as an asset, is one of the things that helps people go from being financially like super middle class to actually being kind of, actually starting to be wealthy. And I think it's a bad financial decision to try and sell this house when we need a bigger one. My wife doesn't love the idea of adding on to it because we're not really in a neighborhood. There's some aspects of the house that we can't just make to what we want, and I can appreciate that. But it's a little bit difficult to save up for a down payment for a house when you already have a house, and it's already hard enough for people without a house to save up for a down payment. It's even harder when you have 3 kids and you're trying to save up, and you have things like we have a good car we have a good family car. We needed the space, and so ended up being before the last time I was promoted. It actually worked out that I got promoted right after. Otherwise, I might have been a little bit too much car at once, but we have a Suburban, which was, we didn't get it at the worst time to buy a car. It was getting a little bit better, but that's an expensive car. The monthly payment for the car is more than half the monthly payment for the house. I'll put it that way. So I'll be paying off the car within 3.5 years or so. So that is probably the time frame to make a decision on whether to get another house or to add on to this one. And this one could be fun. But it still might be better to go find another one. But now we're back to the idea of like, all right, so what's my mission now? I just need to accumulate money for the sake of a house. Maybe that's not too bad. Maybe that's not when people talk about just pursuing money. If I have something very specific to pay for, maybe that's a little bit different. Just finding ways to do that. Yeah. And more of the short term, I got more softball today. We got my daughter's last game, and we rented like a party room at our sponsor's restaurant after the game. So one of the things I'm doing to get ready for that is going through and thinking through what my little post-game speech is going to be. So I want to have something positive to say about each of the girls. I don't have something equally positive to say for everyone. So because they're like ages 7, 8, and 9, I'm gonna have to probably dial back some of them to be a little bit more balanced, or at the very least do the girls with the less to talk about first, so there's less of a direct comparison. But that's gonna be fun anyway. Looking forward to that, but that's what I was thinking about for quite a bit. Coaching is one of those things where I will sometimes actually be surprisingly nervous about it, given how I think I'm pretty good at it and I actually enjoy it. But in terms of like figuring out drills and figuring out how to run practice, I actually spent a decent amount of time thinking about that. I've wondered whether or not I should try to just lean into the coaching angle a bit more. I probably will as my kids get older, especially my boys, because I've been coaching basketball, which is up my alley, baseball, softball, which is kind of up my alley because I did play it. Football would be right up my alley because I know that sport the best. So I don't know that I could really enjoy that, but yeah, it's still I don't know, it's a thing where I would say volunteer to coach something without my kids, though, because one, it takes enough time to coach things with your kids, much less coaching another team. Like as far as like when we're gonna volunteer for the high school football team, I don't know about that. That's a lot of time to spend. In this case, we would be away from family at this point. The youth football stuff is very easy to volunteer for. That's a natural fit. So when my sons are old enough and interested in football and signing up for that, that could be pretty straightforward. That might happen sooner than later. We'll see. Yeah, that's good for today. Man, that would be a nice sweet spot if I could find a way to get paid to coach my kids, but I don't think that's how that really works. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I'm not looking at that, but that's another one. Maybe if I think I'm so good at coaching, maybe I should do tips. And then I think the kind of coaching tips I could make, like your videos for otherwise, would be less about drills and more about how to keep kids having fun with the team without just turning every practice into just like games, like fun games, like how to actually get them to be better and like really pay attention to what the kids need. That's the story for a lot of things in life, I found, is like you really just got to pay attention. And maybe it's good I'm doing this journal because this is my time to pay attention to a little bit more to myself, but and other things that I wouldn't normally pay attention to. And during the day, pay attention to the important things going on. So when I'm coaching, pay close attention to the kids and to the parents to an extent, but mainly the kids. And I shouldn't say parents, maybe the families. But, well, that's what we're looking at today. As far as house stuff, maybe I'll end up screening the gazebo today. We'll see. Will be another little home improvement thing. All right. Day 12 of the journal and the books, as well as Tip was tip number 6. Yeah, I'll have to restock my list of tips soon. See you tomorrow.